This is the model of how a designer works, perspective to this particular model. And then what you need to do is go and engage with these, what we call as the stakeholders, in this value creation triangle by fixing your communication with them.
One question.
Yes, Anjali.
Yeah. And like lots of companies, your boss is from technical background, right? So they understand all this stuff. And most of the companies, startups, they unluckily they don't have technical bosses. So even they have not cleared their business impact or requirements. Is nothing is there, and you have to start from scratch, right? So how to measure the business impacts then? There is nothing like they even boss is not knowing your requirements. How you going to manage it?
Okay. You're going to learn about this concept called as the model of how a UX designer works. So what I'll do, I'll actually draw it out for you. Okay. Yeah. So I related to the question also. The question you actually asked is not many people are actually having that technical background to understand this business impact and all that stuff. So they're not even basically seeing my work in this particular manner. So a part of it is true, a part of it is not true. So the part of it which is not true is everyone is unconsciously already into this value creation triangle. Obviously, you're designing for a product which is offering some
Yeah.
services. Obviously, they're doing it for this. And obviously, these people who are involved, those are what are called as the business, right? In fact, you yourself are also called as business. You are part of the company which is running the business, right? And then you're doing it for the consumers, right? Consumers can be businesses or it can be customers as well. If it is businesses, it's called as a B2B company. If it is consumers, it is called as a B2C company. Which company is yours?
It's both.
You have both B2B and B2C products, right? So that's what you have. Okay. So this triangle is a must. Okay. But just that the way people speak might not represent a standard language as you're expecting. That's the part which you are not right about, or it's a misconception thinking that everyone speaks the standard language over here. So, see, one possible solution change everyone. Is this possible?
Definitely not possible.
Not possible, right? See, I made a lot of money working at Amazon or whatever. It's not because I went around this route trying to change everyone, right? I worked in multiple startups as well, right? I, in fact, helped my startup get acquired by Amazon, right? So, all this happened not because I tried this. People are always like this. Even in big companies, you can't change everyone, and everyone does not speak the same language. So instead, what we do is change the way we function or change the way we communicate, right? So you're doing the same things which you're going to do, but what is going to happen is the way you communicate to these people so that they will realize that you are actually contributing to this triangle, not in your words, but in their words. Because you know that they are talking this language in a different manner. All you need to do ideally is find out this language and talk in their language so that they understand it. The reason why they are not talking with you is because this is going to be a little harsh, is because you have not given them enough opportunities to realize that they can actually talk these things with you. They don't think that you can be spoken to about these things. Because right now they don't know whether you will speak their language and they don't know what your language is. You got it? So you need to fix this communication. So how do we do that? Okay. I'll present this to you here. Okay. Firstly, let us understand this. What does a UX designer have to do? UX designer certainly gets some inputs and they're going to translate it into outputs. Correct? But one of the biggest misconceptions about what people think they need to do is UX designers, they think that there is a requirement, a standard requirement document, PRD. A standard document has to be given, and then I'll output design. While this is true, there's a misconception because this is not just the job of a UX designer is just to do these things, but it is defined in a very different manner because that actually reflects the way UX designers work. This input side, I'm going to call it as ambiguity. One of the biggest and most important roles a UX designer has to play is translating ambiguity into clarity. For example, let us say as an input, you are given a product manager, someone comes to you and say, hey, you know what, look at this design, I don't like this, can you please change it? Generally, textbook designers tend to go and reject it because they think, oh, you have to come back to me with product requirement document, this, that, whatever, and we have to do research and all. No, not just that. Whatever comes in ambiguous stage, because you're a designer, to make decisions, correct? To make these design decisions in such a way that you will bring clarity to whatever ambiguity your company has, right? So if they say, hey, look at this screen and I didn't like it, we need to work on this, you go and make a better screen. You will generate
Yeah.
more clarity about what is working, what is not working in this particular screen. Let's say they give you, hey, look at this document, actually this product requirement document, and we are trying to figure out how the product is actually going to work. You go and give a visualization of it, probably using some wireframes or initial prototypes or concepts, right? Basically, they say, hey, you know what, I think we should go and try out this particular idea. You go and give them a clearer idea, backing them from what might work for the users and the business. So if you think of it, these are generally the functions what UX designers do. They make ideas better, they turn ideas into prototypes, they turn these concepts into, they have an existing design, they make a better design. They do all these things. You've heard about all these things, right? But the problem is, you're thinking that this is not value creation work. You're just thinking like that because of a misconception, often because of a textbook idealization of what a designer has to do. No. As long as you are converting ambiguity and to clarity and giving to business, you are doing valuable work. Which is
Okay.
why the beauty lies, which is why, as I said, I work with many people, right? When I work with them, I will extract out case studies from whatever they've already done, because I know they've actually solved ambiguity and gotten clarity, not in a textbook way. They are blocking themselves thinking I have to do it in a textbook way, but there are actual stories and case studies which will come out of literally things which they've already done. And the next part answering to your question is, you need to understand how do you tell these stories and how do you talk this language in such a way that, here comes the stakeholders. These stakeholders are continuously going and talking to you, correct? All you need to do is, how is it that you tell the story of how you turned this input or idea or a screen or a product design or whatever and made it better? What did you do? What decisions did you take? You just need to communicate this to the stakeholders in their language. What is the language they're trying to speak? They are trying to actually go and speak this particular language. Let us say there's a product manager is coming to you. So in the business, basically, there is this one more trying quickly. So there is someone called as a product manager. So then there is a developer. Okay. And then there is a UX designer. So there are these three people who are actually working in a company. Okay. You can think of it, this person like an architect of a building. A product manager is someone like the owner, or in other words, called as a builder, right? And then there is a developer who is actually coming and building with all that cement and doing all that civil engineering, right? So the same translation into what happens there is actually happening in digital products in this particular manner. Now, these people are there. They are actually talking this particular language of this particular business. Let us say the product manager comes to you, give me an example requirement they give you. In the most lamest form, it can come without talking this language. Mm.
Okay, we need to build my application module. That's the requirements. And then
Very good.
I go up and ask the question like, what are the requirements? So I get very minimal information and then I design and then we review, then
Yes,
iterate.
because the time is very minimal. Is there one question you can always ask? That much time you'll have, correct? Yes. What if that one question you ask, even if you get answered to that, you can actually do this entire thing much better? I'll tell you that question. And if you ask that question, it will lead to multiple questions that person will want to talk with you. Because if you ask that question, they're only going to get increment, they're only going to get promotion. That question is this. Okay. What are the business metrics this is going to impact? Business metrics. Or in other words, they're also called as KPIs.
Okay.
There is no product manager in the world who will work without business metrics and KPIs. This is how their job is measured. For all the people who are not
Yeah.
understanding this, business metrics are nothing but a way to measure how your business is performing. Because in the value creation model, you have to make money, right? So how do you make money? Let us say some Swiggy, right? If 100 people landed on Swiggy, how many people, let us say there are 10 people out of those 100 who are actually buying that food, making that transaction, right? They're paying, let us say, some 300 rupees to go and purchase this food in Swiggy. If more out of these 100 people actually buy, Swiggy is going to make money, correct? All of you understand this, right? So the job of this person called as a product manager is to go and do this. How do I make sure 100 people out of 100, 10 people will go and buy? Right? This is measured by a metric known as conversions. So conversions is one thing which they're measuring. What is the conversion here, guys? 10% conversion. Now, let's go back to what Anjali has said. All you need to ask them is, hey, can you tell me what is the business impact of this? What KPIs are going to change because of this? Is this going to impact conversions? Is it going to have increased session time? Is it going to be increase in average order value? Or is it going to be a mix of it? Can you explain this to me? The
Mm.
person will be like, either the person thinks, okay, you won't anyway understand this, or, oh, now you understand all these things. Let's actually talk. Simple. Start with this one question. I'm telling you, everything will change. Because the reason why they're giving is because they want to impact conversions, or like it can be average order value. They are coming to you for that reason. But they are thinking that if I go and build this particular page, probably my conversion will increase. But they are not telling it to you because they don't think that you can understand it, right? It is not your job, definitely. But your job becomes much better the moment you understand that it is being done for conversions, the way you design changes. So the moment you start communicating like this, Anjali, it's not going to happen in 1 week. It's going to take a long time. But it starts with this because it's communication, right? It's not sorted. If you understand this model, you don't have the misconception that it always follows a linear process, a perfect process. You'll always do the same kind of things. No, we take a lot of inputs which are in the ambiguous stage and we turn them into clarity. It can be a low fidelity to high fidelity, a document to a design, an idea to a better idea, an existing design to a better design, or sometimes clarity requires you to remove stuff. So the more you understand UX designers in this particular model, the better designer you will become. And the only missing piece in this entire model is a down part, which I call as the tools, right? Which will have, obviously, your design tools are there. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to use your design tools, craft tools, and all that stuff, but that's not it, right? You're also going to use the UX principles, which is also what you're going to learn this, right?
Okay.
This is our strong ground. And the beauty is, they will start respecting UX principles the moment each principle you use and you talk backwards from their business language, because every UX principle returns business impact. So you use these tools, out of which UX principles become one of our most important armor, right? And then we have our UX processes. Not the process they
Yeah.
are supposed to follow to talk to you. That's the misconception. The process you will follow, not standard processes. The things which you will do to go and turn ambiguity into clarity. That's what we call as a UX process. Not design thinking, not double diamond and all that stuff. Okay, so this is the model of how a designer works. And then what you need to do is go and engage with these, what we call as the stakeholders, in this value creation triangle by fixing your communication with them.
Okay.
Next promotion
Yeah.
guaranteed. If you practice this, not just you understand it, warning, don't just think, okay, one class.
I'll let you know if
It'll happen, Anjali. I've done it to a lot of people. It will definitely happen. Yeah. Awesome.